Hello Internet, it is me, Stephanie, back here again with another video. I picked a new location here. It's a little bit noisier than I thought at first. I'm kind of near a roadway, so we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it's not too noisy in the back. Well, to be honest, I'm feeling a little bit frazzled right now. I just dropped off my son at preschool, and some days he goes so easily and just says, "See you later, Mom," like, "See ya if I care," type of thing. And today he just was not ready to go. And I know I'm not the only one who's felt this way. Not just the only parent with a child, or the only person who has ever felt themselves in a position where someone is clinging to you and begging you and pleading and screaming and crying for you to stay with them and to it wrenches on your heart, it wrenches on my soul, and it's kind of put me off my plan for today. And I almost feel like that in itself is a message. So the full moon in Scorpio happened recently, and it was very intense. A lot of shedding, a lot of stripping away, a lot of change, a lot of facing things that have been a long time coming. And of course, the longer you cling to something that's meant to go, the harder it is when it does. So my son's 4 years old, and he's been home with me pretty much his whole life. Entirely his whole life. But now, because of my own life circumstances changing, and it's become necessary for him to start to go to school. Not just that, but he craves the socialization that being home with me just doesn't quite fit. I mean, I've tried to keep him in activities and play groups and whatnot, but being with kids his own age, I see as something that he really needs. So as tough as a decision that it was for both of us, it's one of those things where I just know, we both know that it's the right thing, as hard as it is to let go in the time. So I think it's been a theme. It's going to stay a theme, I think, of letting go of something that is hard to let go of, letting go of a person or a place or a familiar routine, letting go of a future plan you had. I intended to homeschool him originally, and that just doesn't seem to be in the plan anymore, or not right now. And when you have to let go, and when you have to shift course and change direction, it can really fucking suck. But it's about courage today. I'm wearing yellow, and I just saw a yellow car go by. Actually, last night, he and I were talking about the story of the Wizard of Oz, and the idea, especially the lion, is the one that he kind of identified himself with. But the idea that you're braver than you think, and the courage that you need is within you, even if you've forgotten, or even if others have helped or caused you to forget. Being empathic and taking in the opinions and the feelings of those around us can sometimes confuse us and almost trick us into believing that we aren't as brave as we think we are, if we're surrounded by people who are not acting courageously in their own lives. So I don't know, that's just my random intro for today in terms of what's going on right now and where my head is at. And part of me just wanted to go home and cry. Part of me just wanted to, take him in my arms and run. Whether that would have been productive for either of us or not, because like I said, this is a step that we both know that we need to and we have to take. And it's almost got me in the position of, well, how am I supposed to come on here and make silly videos now after knowing that he's crying for me in a different place? But that almost brings up the idea of distractions and excuses that I had been saying in an earlier video, where the broom against the wall. When you're set on doing something, or when there's something that needs getting done, you can't always put it down, even if you wish you could. And you can't always cling to a person or a place or a thing, even if you were comfortable there, or even if you felt like it was best at the time. Not only that, but sometimes letting go isn't as bad as we think it's going to be. Sometimes, in this case, he's got his teachers, he's got friends there. There's plenty of toys and things that as soon as he settles down and looks around and settles in, he'll be just fine. I know that. So I'm not taking on any guilt or, well, I mean, wiping away my tears as best I can about it. But there's a lot of things to think about there. There's a lot of things to think about, not just for parents and kids, but for places that we thought were safe or felt were safe and they change, or plans we thought we had and they don't pan out, or just, you know, the courage to face the next step in our journey, even if it's not something that was a rough transition out of. Like growth and change is tough no matter what. And we can't sit and stew and, you know, cry about it at the expense of finding that courage to push through and, you know, still getting done what needs to get done. So I don't know, talking to myself as always, but trying to remember that we're all going to be okay. I mean, another thing that I like to find, that I think about, that I find helpful, is just remembering that I'm not alone. I'm not the only parent who had to drop off a child who didn't want to go. In fact, every child in that room probably went through phases or still goes through times when they really don't want to leave. But at the same time, every other child in that room was happy and they were playing and they were just fine. So another yellow truck going by as I say that, and I feel it. I feel the need for courage, if not the courage itself at times, to know that whatever stage of life we are on, whether we're the child being dropped off or the parent, or whether we are letting go of a different relationship or a different thing or place, the letting go is the hard part, yeah, and it can hurt, absolutely. But we all go through it, and we live, and we can find common ground, and we can take courage from each other, seeing those who might be a little bit further ahead on the journey, and that they're okay and that they've worked through it, and that gives us the inspiration to say, you know, as tough as this moment might be right now for me, I'm gonna get through it too. So that's my opening start. I did a little pre-shuffle here. I'm working with the herbal astrology oracle again. This one gives me a very ancestors vibe. Like, it's very earthy and ancient, and that's kind of what I needed right now. I don't really have too much of a support system or a community here, having immigrated just, you know, a year and a half ago for one, but whether that was there even before, maybe not so much. So for some reason, these cards speak to me in that way, where if a mother or a grandmother or a father or a grandfather or an ancestor of some kind could give me words of comfort in this moment, what would they be? And on the bottom of the deck right here, I have, oh, it's so sunny. Maybe this is a bad spot. Here, let's see. St. John's Wort, Radiance, and the number is 2. So first thing I see automatically is so much yellow in this picture. The sun in the background, obviously. Oh, do I have to cover that? Sorry, internet. I'm new at this. Okay, so here we have a woman. She's running, and the deer are following after her. And the house behind her is on fire. You know, she's had to run out of a burning building, which is exactly how I felt like I had to run out of preschool this morning. You know, he was still in tears and screaming after me, but I just kind of had to pick up my things and run and trust the teachers that were there, and trust, you know, that he would be okay and that they were competent to help him and settle him. The number is also 2 here, which speaks about like choice, balance, being on the right path. And the symbol is the sun. So I'm sitting here in the sun with the yellow. So as tough as it is, and as off as I still feel right now, I think that's a comforting place to start. And I just split the deck here on blessing. Sage for blessing. So I'm saging my energy here with this card if I can, and trying to clear out just the feelings, you know, what I feel from him and what I feel from myself, and the intensity of this moment. And I'm gonna start fresh. Gonna stay on track, and I'm gonna have faith in myself and in my kid, that, you know, that this isn't going to be the end of the world for either of us, and we're both going to be able to embrace the changes, even if it takes a while, and that allowing change rather than you know, caving to that urge for me to just grab him up and he says, "Mom, take me home," and just grab him and run. You know, that doesn't fix anything. It doesn't change the circumstances. It doesn't change the facts, and it only just delays the inevitable, and it starts to even form you know, a harmful pattern for both of us that if it feels too hard, we'll just give up. So yeah, those are sort of my thoughts on that today. I'm gonna see if I can clear out that energy and see if there's a message, a related message about maybe how to embrace change and how to find courage, how to release, you know, the feeling that we have, especially as parents in many cases, but also in other situations to parents of our own families, our own partners, even jobs, workplaces, that obligation, rightly or wrongly so, that we might feel to fix things for other people and to, you know, cave to their emotions and to modify our lives to suit what they want in that moment, whether it's what is best for us or them or not. Blessing has come out again. So I feel that my energy is still entangled, I could say. I haven't quite cleared it out yet. So maybe I'll take a pause and come back in another video for that. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Hopefully someone can relate. And you know, if you're going through something right now, if you're feeling wrenched away from something that you weren't ready to say goodbye to, or abandonment wounds could be something else that's coming up, yeah, feel free to share it, and let us remind each other that we're not alone, and that we all go through these phases and these experiences, and hopefully spread some words of encouragement to remind each other that it won't last forever. You know, if you got through it, so can I. Yeah, let's try to uplift each other in this time. And yeah, thanks so much for tuning in to whatever this was. And I'll see you in the next one.